The draft is in 10 days, and I've already filmed this video once. I didn't like it. I thought the mock draft I picked was horrible. Editing me here. Throughout this video, I make references to a second round that I'm gonna do. I'm not. I filmed it, but that would make this video way too long, so I'm just gonna cut all that out, so. This is the first two rounds. On the clock first is the Las Vegas Raiders. We're not going to falter here. Raiders, Fernando Mendoza. I tried to go off on some Kirk Cousins is going to be that guy, so they shouldn't. I was wrong, okay? I was trying to be controversial. Let's just do it normal. Yeah. Second overall pick. The Jets need a quarterback. But the thing is, later in this draft, later in this round even, they have another pick that they got from the Colts. They're not going to take a quarterback here because the quarterbacks are not that good. I think 3 quarterbacks are going to get taken. Fernando Mendoza is one of them, and I'll tell you where the other ones are. Okay. Right now, I don't think they need a wide receiver as much as PFF says they do. What they need is defensive players. They traded away Sauce Gardner. They need an edge more. And with Aaron Glenn, the defensive-minded coach, I think they're going to take Ruben Bain Jr. All right. Arizona Cardinals. I don't think that there's any quarterback good enough to be taken number 3 overall. Fernando Mendoza's gone. He is the standout. And somehow I haven't heard any hype about a Shedeur Sanders type again, where everyone thinks he's going to be really good. Everyone thinks that this is the consensus number 2. Nobody thinks anybody's the consensus number 2, which is why I think teams will be hesitant to take him. That being said, they need no line. They need a tackle. And so Francis Mauigoa is a Cardinal. On the clock, number 4. They cannot rely on Tony Pollard to be that guy. He's old. They cannot rely on Tyjae Spears to be that guy. He's not good. This is where Jeremiah Love gets picked. And so now on the clock is them New York Giants. They don't have Wan'Dale Robinson anymore, but does that matter? Because they have Jackson Dart, who will throw to Malik Neighbors. I think they're good for now in the wide receiver department, and I think they'll take a wide receiver just later. Who's it going to be? It says they need a guard. It says they need a linebacker. Now, where's the top guard in this draft? Olave Vega Ioane. I assume that's how you pronounce his name. I think it's better for them, though, to just go with the number 1 overall talent, because linebacker is one of their needs. So should they go with top guy first? I think they should. Arvell Reese is a New York Giant. On the clock now, we got the Browns. The Browns are looking for a way out of Jerry Jeudy. They want to trade him bad. They don't want him there. How do you state that you want a guy gone? By drafting the best overall replacement for him. Carnell Tate, you are a wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns. Washington Commanders on the clock. Let's go with the other Notre Dame. Jadarian Price. You're going to be the guy instead of JCM. Bill don't got it. Austin Eckler's old. Brian Robinson's gone. Jadarian Price, you got to help it. Next up is the New Orleans Saints. Did a good job in free agency. They signed Travis Etienne. I think Tyler Shough is that guy. Travis Etienne will help him run the ball instead of having to throw to Chris Olave so much. Chris Olave, great receiver, the only one. I just don't think the Saints need a wide receiver first round. I think they would rather go for a defensive guy. While I would love Sonny Styles to be drafted by the Cowboys, they should just go with the best overall. And if a linebacker is their need, the best overall linebacker should be taken. He's the top talent left. Sonny Styles is going to the New Orleans Saints. And next up, we have the Chiefs. The Chiefs, they need a receiver. Again, I think a receiver could be found later in this draft. Particularly, they took a pick from the Rams, I believe, down later in this draft. So they could go for a receiver later. They have, for sure, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy. So I don't think wide receiver is their biggest need. Edge is their second biggest need. And again, let's just take the best guy available. David Bailey is a Chief. And I'm sure he's not too sad about that. On the clock, number 10 is the Bengals. And dear Lord, they need an O-line. Olavavega Ioane. Welcome to the Bengals. And now we have the Dolphins. Again, they need a wide receiver. And I mean it this time, okay? We were just talking about how this website says that the Chiefs need one when they have two all right ones. I mean, one very good one, Rashee Rice, and then Xavier Worthy. The Miami Dolphins legitimately need a wide receiver. They traded Jalen Waddle. Tyreek Hill is gone. Who's left? They use Devon Achane as a wide receiver a lot, but he's a running back. They need someone who can catch passes. And so Makai Lemon should be a Dolphin. And I said earlier I would have liked Sonny Styles to be a Cowboy just because that feels like a guy whose name would go great on a Cowboys uniform. It's not how it's going to happen. They're going to go with a defensive guy. And so who's the top guy but Caden McDonald? Cowboy. And now the Rams have the Falcons pick. But who do they need? Who did the Rams need? Puka Nacua, controversial guy, stupid guy, catch ball good. Okay? Wide receiver is something they address later. They're going to go with an O-lineman here just because it's their second biggest need. Spencer Fano. Welcome to the Rams. And now for the Ravens. Oh my God, they need an O-line. I don't know anything about their wide receiver needs. I'm sure Zay Flowers is just fine. This past season, the Lions played the Ravens, and the Lions sacked Lamar Jackson 7 times. That's crazy. They need somebody. So it is a great idea for them to take the number 1 guard, because they have all right tackles, I assume. PFF doesn't say they need any. So I'm going to trust them here to take Emmanuel Pregnon. And again, I have no clue what PFF is on about because they have Cade Otton. Cade Otton is perfectly fine. They need an edge and a linebacker. At this time, it's not like with previous picks where they have a need, but it can be addressed later because there's a way better guy available right now. Right now, I just don't think it'd be worth it to take Akeem Mesidor out of Miami. Let's go with just what they need. They need a guard, Chase Bisontis, however you say it. You're a Buccaneer now. And the Jets. Welcome back to the Jets. They got this pick from the Colts in the Sauce Gardner trade. They have Geno Smith. They traded Justin Fields to the Chiefs as their backup. And now who's their stack? Geno Smith and Tyrod Taylor? No. They're gonna draft a QB that's good. If they know anything, they're just gonna take the best one remaining. And according to PFF, that is Ty Simpson. Poor guy. He's a Jet. Now we make it to the Lions. This is who I like. Our O-line is not good. What have we done to improve it, though? I know we signed Cade Mays to a 3-year deal. Great. He was from the Panthers. Great pick. Barch and Borom. We need insurance for if they don't turn out well. And I know everyone in the Lions fan base has been like, Caden Proctor. He's our guy. We need Caden Proctor. But is he the best available? They think that Monroe Freeling and Blake Miller will be taken before Caden Proctor. And I can't say that he won't. Again, I'm just a casual. I don't know how these teams are going to draft. I'm just taking my best guess as someone who is uninformed. I am no expert. But I see Monroe Freeling as the best available. And I assume that Caden Proctor is who we probably will get. But Monroe Freeling is accordingly the best available tackle. On the clock now is the Vikings. Running back is a need they can address later. So let's go with an O-line. Let's go with Keelan Rutledge or Connor Liu, someone like that. But this says they need a center more than anything, so Connor Liu is a Viking. I don't know what PFF's issue is because Ted McMillan won Rookie of the Year. Is it too far to say that they don't need a wide receiver? Is that wrong of me? I would say tight end is a bigger need. I don't know much about Tommy Tremble, but from what I can assume is that if you're ranked 14 in the draft, you're probably a better tight end than Tommy Tremble. We are back to the Cowboys. So, we've drafted them so far. Where were they? We've drafted them, Caden McDonald. Well, I'm looking, and I see the second best player available is Mansour Delany, however you pronounce it. Mansour Delany, I'm just going to say that. And reasonable. So now we are to the Steelers. They do not have a quarterback. They have Mason Rudolph on their roster. He would never start in a million years. This is where our third and final quarterback of the first round is going to be taken. This is the top guy, and I think the Steelers will take him. Garrett Nussmeier. You were a Steeler until Aaron Rodgers resigns, and then you're just their backup. And here we have the Chargers and their severe O-line deficiency. Joe Alt was hurt for this basically whole season, and it revealed that he was basically the only thing holding that O-line together. Joe Alt, you need help. And so this is where I think Blake Miller gets taken. Okay, pause. What's this? They have A.J. Brown and they have Devonta Smith. I just don't believe they're going to trade A.J. Brown. If they trade A.J. Brown, it's going to be at the deadline. That's what I'm thinking. So, who do they need? I think their O-line is good enough to where they can ignore the need for a couple picks. Akeem Mesidor, you are an Eagle. And now we have the Browns once more. We took Carnell Tate very early in the draft. This is what was supposed to be Jacksonville's pick after they traded up for Travis Hunter in the previous draft. QB, is it that much of an issue? I'm not sure, because somehow, some way, Shedeur Sanders ended up being an All-Pro. I don't think he's an All-Pro. I think Shedeur Sanders is just good enough to where they could make do with him. In the meantime, they need an O-line to protect him. So, who's higher rated? Caden Proctor. And I was talking about Caden Proctor before. I think, straight up, this is where he goes. On the clock now is Ben Johnson and the Bears. Ben Johnson and the Bears will draft Sam Hecht. He's just weird like that, okay? And now, the Bills are up. We have this situation where I have left the safeties on the board. And this is where I think Caleb Downs gets taken. He's just the best guy remaining. The 49ers O-line is gone. They're all gone. Let's get them some guys back. Let's take, who's the top guy? Looks like Max Ahienakor, however you pronounce it. You're a 49er. Congrats, bud. On the clock now is the Texans. I don't believe they need a running back because David Montgomery is that guy, and Woody Marks will be a solid backup. What they do need is an O-line because, oh my god. When the David Montgomery trade happened, they were talking, I went to the Texans subreddit and was like, hey, do you guys, how is Juice Scruggs? And they were like, he's a project, but I'm not happy we're losing him because that means we have less O-line. They need an O-line. They don't care who's on it. They need an O-line. And who is the best option for that? Let's just take the top-rated O-lineman. Caleb Lomu is a Texan. The Chiefs are back up again. Who did I take for them? I took David Bailey, edge. I took an edge for them, right? So now let's take some defense because, again, I don't think that wide receivers are a first-round-ish need for them because Trent McDuffie and Jalen
Watson
are gone. They need corners. Jermod McCoy is the answer. And now the Dolphins have the pick that they took from the Broncos in exchange for Jalen Waddle. We have already drafted a wide receiver, and let's just draft some protection for Malik Willis. Keelan Rutledge, you are a Miami Dolphin. Good luck out there. On the clock now is the Patriots, and the Will Campbell pick, I argue, was good. They could use more tackles. They could use them. I'm just going to say it. It's something they need. But do they need it so bad? Yeah. Will Campbell and Drake May were the duo. Obviously, one tackle isn't enough. They're going to take Jennings Dunker. And now on the clock. The Seahawks made a decision that baffled me. They said, let's not extend our Super Bowl MVP, who we've been criminally underutilizing, and let's let him just sign with the Chiefs. Isn't that crazy? They are putting the full weight of being the running back on Zach Charbonnet. Zach Charbonnet ain't that guy. He's never been that guy. People are telling me he's going to take a step up now that it's all on his own. Kenneth Walker is either going to get injured pretty quickly or he's going to have the fucking Opoi season that he's been destined for since he's been drafted. It is criminal that they didn't re-sign him. They need a running back that is not Zach Charbonnet, so they are going to be taking Mike Washington Jr. Let's grade my draft. I've earned 2 new awards, apparently. Accept all these. Cool. Hooray. So this is the mock. This is the first round. Yell at me if I'm wrong, but I think this is a very solid draft. A lot of tackles, lots of O-line. It's good. It's what they need. In particular, who I like Jeremiah Love on the Titans. But yell at me, tell me why I'm wrong. And I'll see you next time.